Hi, I'm Michael Tobias from MTD. You are watching for BassPlayersOnly.com.
Hi everyone, John Liebman here. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com. We're coming to you on location from the MTD booth at the 2020 NAMM Show, Anaheim, California. The D in MTD stands for design, and the MT stands for Michael Tobias, my old friend, and here he is right now. How are you, Michael?
I'm good for a grumpy old man, and you?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you. You and I go way back, and I still have those prized 5-string basses that you built for me, one fretted, one fretless, and I enjoy them very much.
Great.
We did an interview at Summer NAMM, the two of us, with your son Daniel. That was, I think that was about, at least, I think it was 4, 5, 6 years ago, something like that. So I know a lot has been happening with you, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity. We've interviewed so many of your artists, Andrew Goucher, Norm Stockton, Bobby Lewis, and on and on. So I thought we'd get back to the man himself. Tell us what's going on and what's new in the last 5, 6 years. Anything?
Quite a bit, actually, other than just getting much older and grumpier.
Grumpy with a smile.
Oh, yeah. So I've been doing this show since 1978, when it was in the basement of the Disneyland Hotel, and that was the entire show. So in all these years, this is such a radical change for what's been going on.
In a good way?
I think so. I mean, the music industry's grown from a little bit of nothing to this monster, 1 million square foot show. It's pretty amazing. So we've been doing MTD for 25 years. Last January, this is 26, and we have managed to build nearly 4,000 really good instruments. Daniel came in 2009 after finishing college and decided he wanted to work in the biz, so he's been steadily apprenticing and is pretty much done, and by this time next year I'll be his employee. So I'm pretty jazzed about having the first second generation kid in the modern era to take over a biz who's actually a builder, not doing artist relations or business.
Okay, so what is that going to look like in terms of a daily basis? All of a sudden you're going to walk in one day and what do you, switch offices or switch places or switch roles? Or what?
No office. I'm still going to help out.
Just speaking metaphorically.
Yeah. But he's going to end up running the day-to-day business, and I'll be the consultant. I'll still help him work. He can do everything in the shop, but it's such a small shop, and without hiring a couple more people, I'll be there every day. But all the decisions and the stuff, the direction of things will be on him. He's got his first new instrument design out, and we'll have another one by, I think, January. And they'll be family-like. You certainly tell it's an MTD, but it's him. So I'm pretty happy about that, actually.
Okay. And are you already kind of transitioning toward that? Because there can't be like a flip the switch, or can there?
He's instrumental in a lot of the decisions. He does most of the social media. I don't even look at it. I'm 70 years old. I'm too old to play this. It's like, I don't want to learn that stuff. But he does all that and is responsible for actually he's responsible for almost everything now except final setup. And I could probably back away, walk out for 6 months, and he'd be fine.
That's the sign of you having built a well-oiled machine.
No, it's not a well-oiled machine. It creaks and groans a lot.
If the founder can go away, if you can go on vacation for a week or a month and the business isn't going to crumble, that is a testament to something that you did that's very right.
Well, it's a testament to him being able to deal with it. So that's the good part. And I'm really looking forward to, being a bass grandfather, as it were.
There you go.
For real. So.
Let's talk about some of the basses. In addition to the new ones that Daniel has built and is building, you've always got something new and beautiful to look at and to play.
Well, there's some really nice woods here. We found a stash of Chechen burl. And Chechen is not a true rosewood, even though it's called Caribbean rosewood. And the burl slabs are not usually big. Very rarely can you get one large enough to make a guitar top out of. While the fingerboard is hard and snappy, like Honduran rosewood, a little sharper than Indian rosewood sonically, when you cut the burl for a top, it's a whole different animal. And should I get up and grab one? Or?
Get some B-roll after.
All right. So this burl over here in front of the walnut is spectacular looking, but it's warm and sweet. It's kind of the opposite of the fingerboard. So it makes a great sounding bass. We ran across this stash of blue gum eucalyptus burl. So the blocks are 8 inches wide, 22 inches long, and 4 inches thick. And they weigh like 35 pounds apiece. They're like lead. So we let it air dry for 2 years and then cut it and opened it, and it weighs nothing. It must have been all water weight, but it's a really subtle, beautiful wood. Sounds lovely. And we've just been experimenting with new exotics, trying to find tone woods that other people don't use. What else have we got? I have to look around, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Started using Cocobolo again. I've been emotionally allergic to it for about 40 years.
Emotionally.
Well, at Tobias years ago on Cahuenga Boulevard,
I remember the shop. I've been there.
we made 7 signature 5-strings as an order with a Cocobolo top and back, 9-piece highly figured necks, glued them on mahogany, got them all the way through the finish process. They were hanging in the dry room, ready to be buffed out and assembled. I went home on Friday. I came back on Monday, and the Cocobolo had curled up off the mahogany and shredded the veneer separating them. So it was like a whole month's production that evaporated because I don't know what happened to the wood, but it just self-destructed. So I wouldn't let Cocobolo in the shop for about 35 years. I was crushed.
Well, what's changed about the wood?
I have no idea, truthfully. I ended up giving that stash to Joe Zahn. Joe and I have been friends forever.
I saw him yesterday.
Yeah. And he came down when we moved to Burbank, and he helped us move from North Hollywood to Burbank and helped us build wood racks and stuff. It was really cool. So I gave him this stash of Cocobolo after telling him the story, and he built 20 or 30 basses out of it and never had a problem. So it just didn't like me, or it didn't like Hollywood, I don't know. But a couple years ago I bought a stash of what was supposed to be Ziricote. And Ziricote evidently comes in 2 flavors, green and black and red and black. And this guy up in Albany had bought it for his wife to make kitchen cabinets out of, and she actually thought it was ugly, which floors me. So he put it away for 20 years, and it air dried for 20 years in his garage. And I bought the entire stash from him, and stuff's been amazing. And just spectacular sounding. So I guess whatever voodoo there was is gone.
Yeah, maybe they give the trees vitamins now, or who knows.
I don't know.
Let's talk a little bit more about you. I don't know if you envision yourself getting up every morning and still going into the shop every day like you have been for so many years, or if you're going to have more time on your hands. I know you have a passion for 6-string acoustic guitars, which I believe is how you started. Are you going to get back to some of that?
I'd like to. I've been saving some backs and sides since the late 70s. I'd like to finish working out the acoustic bass guitar things that I've been working on. I've got a set of bent sides with liners and end blocks sitting over my bench now for 14 years.
You are incredibly patient. 2 years for this, 14 years for this, 35 years for that.
Everything gets in the way, like making a living.
You should go into the scotch business or the whiskey business.
Please. I'd be drinking up all my profits. But making guitars isn't work. I get up every day happy to do it. What's work is the accounting, the marketing, that stuff.
Do you do all that too?
Yeah, most. So being able to let Daniel handle the business end, run the shop, and do the parts of the shop he needs to do will take a huge load off of me, and I'll be able to go back to working on acoustics and still help him. When we go back, I'm going to finish teaching him how to carve arch tops. And there's a bunch of stuff that he needs to learn, but that'll be fun to do rather than, oh shit, we have to make 3 of these this week,
He's obviously learned an awful lot from you over all these years. What have you learned from him?
Patience. That's what every parent learns from their kid.
How about in terms of instrument construction and manufacturing?
I've learned he's more detail-oriented than I am sometimes, and he sees things differently and a little better than I do in certain instances. His color sense is better than mine as an art school graduate. He graduated from SMFA in Boston with a Bachelor of Fine Arts from Tufts, and he was the only freshman they ever gave the keys to the print room to.
Wow!
And he finished.
Must have made you proud.
Oh, he's a good artist. But when he graduated, he came out second in terms of sculpture. The winner got a International Sculpture magazine write-up and a bunch of stuff. But he's really good at what he does. His sense of balance and proportion are outstanding, and that helps me as well, because to refine shapes, to make sure things flow, they don't look like they were designed by dropping a bowl of potatoes on the ground. It's like there has to be some continuity to it. But that's been.
Well, congratulations on all the success that you've had, and congratulations also on this exciting new chapter in your life. You've built a great business, and it's obviously in very good hands going forward. So
I think so.
We look forward to seeing lots more great stuff from MTD Design. It's not going to change the name, right? It's not going to be DDD, DTD.
The name is registered. That's going to stay the same, and I'll be there for a while. I'm not going away.
Yeah, well, that's great. Congratulations again. So your dad told me that you're taking over the business. So say anything you want about how do you feel about having worked with him and the fact that you're at this transitional point and you're going to be taking over. I mean, you must have, and he commended you also on the designs that you've done and the ones that you're working on. So why don't you just tell us how you feel about all that stuff and what's going on and about the future. I got all that.
Okay. Well, one, I feel very fortunate to have grown up with my father. It's hard to get started in this business, and I got lucky, having been his son. And, I've learned a lot from him. And I'm excited to start transitioning into taking over more responsibilities with the company. It's daunting, I won't lie, because it's somebody I have to live up to, but he's always been supportive and, critical when he needs to be. He's not just like glad-handing me into this. So I feel also fortunate in a way that he's guided me in a way that makes me a better builder.
How about the future? You've got to have some thoughts and some vision about where to take the company.
I have a lot of thoughts about that. Next 5-year plan is that I'd like a larger shop. Currently we have a 2-car garage we make everything in, but just some more space, seeing how the market goes, and trying to have a reasonable amount of business without destroying quality. You know, I'm not that interested in a massive amount of growth. I'd rather the product be really good and affordable and usable. I see people playing it out. Like, when I think like the greatest joy in building is watching other artists use something you made as a tool and seeing the art that they make with it. It's like makes me very proud to be doing what I'm doing.
Tell me about some of the actual instruments, because I had never seen a headless MTD bass before, and your dad was telling me about some of the basses that you designed and that you are designing. So what can you share with us about some of the Daniel Tobias designs?
I wanted to make the headless like seem like it's in brand, so it still looks like an MTD. I worked with Hipshot to change the headpiece and make it a little more user-friendly, and they were really helpful with doing that, because we don't make hardware, you know.
Right.
So it was a really good learning experience working with Hipshot to do that. I'm just trying to make stuff that doesn't look ugly, man, and plays really well.
And sounds really good.
Yeah, exactly. I'm working on an arch top right now, because I've never really carved a top before. I mean, that's not really... We carve necks and shape bodies, but I've never done anything like that, so I'd like to challenge myself in the next couple of years and try to produce something really nice.
On location at the 2020 NAMM show from the MTD booth, Anaheim, California, one of my favorite shows. I'm John Liebman. You're watching the #1 site for exclusive one-on-one bass player interviews, and now more than ever, more and more people's favorite site for learning bass online. That's forBassPlayersOnly.com. Once again, I'm John Liebman. Let's play bass.